the very affordable SAR B6 Compact, or B6C, from SAR USA. Tabletop review and field strip coming up next on GBGuns. SAR is a Turkish company that's been around since 1880, I believe, and they make a wide variety of guns, most of them being clones of guns that either had their patent expire or, like this guy, were East Bloc, so never patented. The CZ clones, that is. Wide variety in quality, fit and finish, wide variety in price. This thing picked up for under $300, so I'm really curious to see what kind of quality we're going to get out of it. Before I get into that, of course, we have our federally mandated lock. Take a look at the manual. I do this because, especially guns at this price, it might be your first gun. We've got renderings. Renderings some people don't like as much as photos. I like them because it allows them to highlight certain areas of the gun, even if it's not going to look 100% like your gun. Very clear, but of course our standard 4-color. Somebody somewhere wrote down that all gun manuals must be black, red, gray, and white. See what I mean by having floor plate here as sort of highlighted versus the magazine? That's something that's much easier to do with renderings. And we've got troubleshooting in here. I did read through on the ammo, and no note of ammo preference, which I will get to later. We have 2 magazines. We also get our cleaning rod and one of these nice bore swab, or bore mops, if you will. Let's get this out of the way and take a look at the gun. So I chose this not only because of its price, but single action, double action, 13 round, polymer framed. Those are all pretty winning things in my book. And check this out. Thanks to this high undercut on the trigger guard and this big floor plate, I can get all 3 fingers on a 13 round gun. Does that mean it's a large gun? Maybe. One thing about these finger plates and large hands that you have to be cognizant of is, since I can get my grip on here, that means there's flush there, and so this edge here is a pinch point. I had this problem with the Glock 19, pinching either back here or getting my pinky pinched shoving a mag in. So be cognizant of that. Show them clear. That is a stiff spring. This is where the ammo selection point came up. I'm curious if this is going to be a 124 grain NATO load kind of gun, or if it's going to run in our What's for Dinner test, because that is a really stiff spring. Of course, part of the stiffness is overcoming that hammer spring on the first pull, but it's chunky. Anyways, it's clear. Let's take a look at the gun. Coming up front, we have sort of a high power inspired, very slim front end here. It's the slide in frame design, which CZ is most known for. No serrations up front, and this triangular thin slide. It's not much to grab onto. You're going to have to grab on here, probably the pinch style, not the over top style, to get a good hold. Not a lot of real estate. That's one reason I'm not a fan of slide in frame, but a lot of people like it. Some say it gives you a lower bore axis. I say that's a visual effect. If you look on the back here, you'll notice that slide is no lower in the frame than it would be on a regular slide over frame style. It's just the rail is tucked in underneath. Nice sloped trigger guard here. No serrations or shape on the front. So sorry for those of you that like to shoot with the finger resting up front. It's not going to work here. Really high cut underneath the trigger guard, as I pointed out. We've got some vertical serrations here, these steps. I don't necessarily think that they're very effective, since the gun is trying to rock this way. What you need is some horizontals, but they do have some nice thick texturing there to take care of that. Magazine release protrudes a little bit, but certainly kicks those mags out. Takes some pushing, so I don't think getting it accidentally knocked off would be a problem. We've got our witness windows on the useful side for checking while it's in the gun. At low, medium, and full, 5, 10, and 13 rounds. Nice bright orange follower. The texturing on the grip is more visual than anything. Got no beveling there, but of course not too worried about that, since going from double stack to single stack, your mag well is already built in. It's called the magazine itself. It's skinnier at the top than it needs to be. Problem solved. I appreciate that the back strap extends down this far to give something to index a mag against before slapping in. Of course, making sure to not pinch yourselves if you've got large hands. Vertical serrations on the back strap. Same thing as the front. I believe those should be horizontal, but that's my personal preference. Safety. A little stiff to activate. Deactivates nicely. Almost a ledge to rest your firing thumb on if you'd like. It does not decock. You get a little bit of pull and a wall with the safety on. Trigger pull, of course. Nice rounded shoe here. Comes to a wall. Little creep. Decent break. That's stiff. Reset is almost all the way back out. In fact, let's see. There's our reset. It is all the way back out, but it's a respectable pull. Not a long, feeling like you're trying to pull start a mower with your finger kind of thing. So, not too bad there. Slide to frame, fit in the rear. We have a little side to side, no vertical. Everything's held up pretty tight there. 3-dot sights. Nice narrow sight picture. Should make for accurate shooting. Coming around the right side of the gun. Looks like the magazine release is reversible. We do have an external extractor, which of course is a positive thing. And that nub that always sticks out, all these CZ type designs, see how far that's popping out. That nub for the takedown. Speaking of takedown, next we'll field strip the gun and take a look inside. So the B6C breaks down much like CZ's. You've got these two dots back here. You want those to line up. Then a method that I like to use is thumb to the trigger guard. I know it's weird, but keep in mind you've already cleared this gun multiple times. Hold the slide there. You want to start with the hammer back. So if you try to line up like this, then you're fighting that hammer spring. So pull the hammer back, line those two up, hold in place, and then you're going to push on that pin. It's pretty stiff in mine. Fortunately, I've got a magazine. Pull that pin all the way out, release, and that will let you bring the slide forward after pulling the trigger in this case. Take a look inside our frame. Fairly rudimentary setup. You notice these swells on the frame, which serve as good memory points for your support thumb and trigger finger when not firing. It's also where they've inserted a rail reinforcement. So even though people like to get excited about full-length rails on this design, as we can see, it's really not much more than you'd find on any other pistol. Locking block is in there. That's the spring that holds everything in place. Holds the takedown pin, rather. Not too bad. Take a look at our slide. Pull the barrel out. We're going to give a little pressure and lift on this recoil spring, which is a metal rod. It's nice, especially for a sub $300 gun. And we've got dual springs here, or nested springs, two springs, one inside another. Not captured. Some complain about that, say it's a problem. It is in that it could fire and shoot loose and you could lose it. But if you're paying attention, it also means that it's easily replaced and easily tuned. So if we find this gun does not work on lighter loads and we wanted it to shoot lighter loads, it's possible that there's a lighter spring out there that we could replace that with. We go forward, up, and out to remove our barrel. No polishing on the feed ramp. Don't expect a whole lot out of a gun of this price. other than reliability. I'm going to check chamber fitment with our nozzler match. We've always used this because it has been the most consistent ammunition that I have ever tested. Drops in nicely. Got some play in there. That'll be good for the steel cased ammo. And looking at chamber support, which is how much brass beyond that little edge is poking out. And the answer is none. This is a fully supported chamber. That means no Glock smileys. It means easier to reload the brass. Also means that should there be a case failure or rupture or overpressure, things like that, we're less likely to have those forces come blasting back through the gun and into our hand. More likely those forces are going to leave the barrel. So fully supported chambers, though not always necessary, they're always a good thing. Machining inside the slide looks very nice. There's our safety plunger. That plunger tells me that if you safely decock this with a round in the chamber, you can carry it safety off in double action first shot, safety on in double action first shot, or as the gun is intended, cocked and locked, which means round in the chamber, hammer back, safety on. Reinserted the spring, and get this slide back together. Now when reassembling here, you're going to look through that window and you're going to see that window there open up. It's closed, pops open, and that's where you want to insert your takedown pin. It'll come partway through, bring it back a little further, pop it all the way in. Quick functions check. We've got fire, we've got double action, trigger resets, and does it go on safe? Yes it does. Everything is back in working order. When we get this to the range, we'll do our what's for dinner test, see what loads it'll run and what it won't run. Also 5 shots from 7 yards for some accuracy and reflections, and just general shooting, and you'll get the opinions of 2 different shooters on how this gun feels in the hand. I can tell you the ergonomics on it aren't bad for my hand. If I were to be running a high round count course or something, I would have to be careful not to pinch skin. Speaking of pinching, nice little bevels there to rip a mag out if for some reason you don't properly know how to do a Type 3 malfunction clearing. The spring is definitely stiff. The reliability of this will be interesting, but I've done quite a few SAR guns in the past and never had any issues, so I don't expect any out of this. This is not a new gun, it's been out for quite a while. I'm sure many of you have or have had one. Please let us know in the comments section what you think of this guy and what your experience was, and if there's anything we need to watch out for when we get to the range. Thanks for watching.